Canadian men national team quarterfinal wrap-up show. That was difficult to string
Yeah,
together.
yeah.
I'll say first things first. We won 2-0 in a quarterfinal against Costa Rica, who's ranked 50th in the world, was at the last World Cup. And I'll tell you right now, it was men against boys. We dominated
We did
them
dominate.
horrifically.
We did dominate. The performance, even more so than the result, to me, obviously the result goes hand in hand, but wow, like I think that's one of the most impressive Canadian performances I've ever seen. Obviously, taking into account who we're missing and taking that into account, the level of the performance was just so high. The pressing was insane. The work ethic was just so good. The passing, the control, like I thoroughly enjoyed watching them. And I haven't always said that in the past. Not even I haven't always said that. I've rarely said that in the past, to be honest. And
Yeah.
I was just blown away.
It was one of those games which is strange. Like, when you're watching your Liverpool or me, United or Rangers or whatever, we're watching a game that or even PDL is even a better example when we were at the Fury. Once you're up 3-4-0, and it's just like now you're just enjoying it. I actually just enjoyed it with
Yeah.
very little nerves and
Yeah.
very little it was just almost a pure enjoyment spectacle, which is rare. And I
Yeah.
loved every second of it. And I'll throw this to you because you've said it in the past, and I've noticed it in this game is we're very turning into CONCACAF savvy teams with like not flopping. I don't advocate flopping or whatever, but if you're tucked in the corner and a guy's got his hand on you, you're gonna fall. I think they're just savvy now.
Yeah, and I saw it 2 or 3 times. I know exactly what you're talking about. I want to pick the exact incident and the exact minute, but like when we were up and there was like a foul from Costa Rica, and then the Costa Ricans were mad like we used to get mad at the foul, and
Exactly.
it was like someone who's watched Canada for so long. It's such a turnaround, like as in like now we're the mature team who's milking a game or milking a moment, and it's I have to say I'm sorry to those who don't like it. It's good. They're
Yeah,
not
you
doing it
have
like
to.
flippy floppy all over the place. No, we're
No.
still the Canadian boys you want. But Buchanan was getting fouled unmercilessly, whatever
That
that
was
was.
never gonna
It
work
was
out.
disaster. I think I had a stroke. But
Yeah.
he went down 95% of the time, like from real bad tackles. And a couple times he went down because he was getting beat up. Good on
Yeah.
him, man.
Yeah, for sure. I loved every second of it. And I remember when we used to play Costa Rica and you'd see like Brian Ruiz's name or Joel Campbell, the former Arsenal, you're like, oh, they're
Yeah.
playing today. And
Yeah.
this time I was like, I don't even care. And we're
Didn't
missing a
matter.
billion players. And I was so confident. It was great. Now I'm going to bring this to you. We didn't talk about this yet. And I'm going to throw it to you raw because I wanted to see if you noticed it. Dunfield, the commentator or the color guy, was he using weird terminology? And I'll give you 3 examples.
Perfect.
If you're watching one soccer, you're trying to, Canadian audience and stuff. And I'm thinking of my buddy Stephen Mason, who's a great guy and he loves his soccer, but he's starting to get into Canada now. And if you're listening to Dunfield talk, there was a great diagonal ball hit, and he was like, "What a diag." And I was like, no, that's not like. And then
No.
I forget, I think Vittoria hit one with his left foot, and he's like, oh, he hit that with his left Duke, and it was
Oh, I
going.
heard the Duke. Yes, it
And,
bothered me.
I know, and he was calling
Yeah.
Osorio by a nickname. He's like, Oso's picking the ball up, and I'm like, if somebody doesn't really know, he's not going to know who like you're not talking to your buddies, like you're explaining it to a potential 30% of the audience kind of learning about these players. And it was just, and I'm not criticizing it. I just thought it was weird. I'm listening to this, like, we get it, but maybe not everybody will get that.
I am so glad you brought this up. I'm such a fan of yours right now. I'm going to make you a MySpace page when this is over, and I'm going to just like discuss it. Your examples are brilliant. First, you don't shorten diagonal. There's no need. Diag. I don't need like I got it because I saw the pass, but it like don't do it. Weird.
Yeah.
Um Left Duke.
I've never even heard
I've
that.
never heard of that. And I was like, Duke who? Like, and then Ocho or whatever. I was like, is this Ocho Cinco? Or are they talking about the Ocho, like the octagon? Like,
Yeah.
The Duke killed me. I remember yelling at my wife. I'm like, "What's a left Duke?" And she's like,
Yeah,
"I'm trying to put the
exactly.
groceries away."
I know. It was weird to me. Like,
Just strange.
yeah. So that I figured I'd bring up.
So
This is
funny.
something that may not resonate with many weird brain people like me, but
I want
you
someone to
know,
comment that they've heard left Duke before.
yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
comment. Don't just say it because you hate us and you think we're idiots or something. Like, actually write, yeah, my dad always said use your left Duke.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So there you go. We play Mexico on Thursday at 10 p.m., by the way. Come on.
Yeah.
Some of us are nerds and go to bed early. I don't like this. I'm gonna have to drink like 7 Jolt colas at like 9 o'clock to stay awake.
It's gonna be a tough game. We've lost Cavallini now because of cards in Vittoria. Really
Yeah, no, that
difficult.
kills.
I like what the other announcer said about next man in, and that seems to be the mentality. I genuinely believe in the body language of the players that they're so bought in. Like the
Yeah,
subs that come in, I know my role. I'm gonna do my role. I'm happy with my 20 minutes, or I want more than 20, but I'm gonna do my 20. And I
yeah,
love seeing it. I think it's so great. So I think we'll do well against Mexico. I think we'll put in a good performance. I think if we lose, like we talked about this in the American game, you lose 4-5-0, that's going to suck even with the guys missing. I think we
yeah,
have to show we can always be competitive in these matches with or
yeah,
without Davies and the rest of them. And we got an outside chance.
yeah. No, I agree. And this Canada team, Herdman team, they're not gonna lose easy. Simple as that. And it's like we talked about off air about our youth teams. It's like the hard work is just a non-negotiable. Like it's just there. It just has to be there and will be tough to beat because of that. And Eustachio said it the best after he had an interview after the game, and I must have replayed it 40 times for my ears. They asked him, what's going on? Like, why are we doing so well? Why do you think we're doing so well? And you and Mark Anthony Kay, why are you guys work so well in midfield? And he said, it's a brotherhood. And he was just, it's a brotherhood. He runs for me and I run for him. That was his answer. And I just wanted to melt through my computer into him and
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
yes.
I noted how hard he works. Like I'm a genius for doing that, but I don't know. There was a few times where it was even more than I thought. Like another level. There's one like he slid, tried to get a ball, they flicked it back, and then he ran like 40 yards across the field to get in his shape properly.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like I just loved it. I love him and Mark Anthony Kay. Love, love, love them. I love Tajon Buchanan. Like I can't get enough of him. I think he
Yeah.
is such a good player. He's
Yeah.
just stylistically, like I've said before, someone I love.
Yeah.
Um, it's just like some team right now. Jeez.
Yeah. I keep texting you about Kamal Miller, and I'm sure you're sick of it by
I
now.
am
How
totally.
much I just
It's working
love.
against you for me now because
Yeah,
I
it's
was
true.
dissecting his game the other day and he like made some bad plays. I'm like, see, Mark,
Yeah.
but
No.
like I really like him and I'm dying for him to succeed.
That's my Canada jersey, my next one when I order. It has to be a Miller shirt. And he's left-footed and I'm left-footed. It's like we're like a dream team. I don't know why. He has no idea who I am, but we're a dream
I
team.
love it.
Here's a stupid question. This soccer. If you get 2 yellow cards in a soccer game, you get suspended,
Yeah.
red card, you miss
Yeah.
it. Why are people getting their second yellow card in a quarterfinal and missing the semifinal? This
Yeah.
accumulation of yellows needs to go away. This is dumb.
It's the same. One of the announcers said archaic rule. I thought that was genius. I think it
Yeah.
was, I don't know who it was. Maybe let's say Dunfield to give him some credit after the Duke
Yeah.
comment. But it
Rebuild
is
this stuff.
archaic at this point in a tournament play like that. No, get rid of it. I don't even think the Euros was the same, or am I wrong? Like, didn't they reset
Usually,
earlier?
yeah, it wipes out at the
Yeah,
knockout stage, but
yeah.
this it wipes out after the
No,
quarterfinal
terrible,
stage. Like,
terrible.
why are
Like
we
now,
always different?
yeah,
CONCACAF's always different.
I know. Just do the same as everybody else, and I agree. It needs to be wiped out. It's a bit much.
Yeah.
Two, come on.
It should be 3 then,
Yeah,
because 2 is in the standard soccer rules.
yeah.
2 red card, you're gone. What is this 2 over the course of
You could get one for
4
like a
games?
silly handball or something. Like we're not talking about studying someone or whatever. Like
Yeah. I mean, especially when you have a guy like Cavallini in your team, you know he's taking yellows every game, so it
Hume was
works
right
against
though.
him.
Did you hear Hume comments about him? He's like, I want to stay striker union, but his foul was dumb. And he's right. There was no need to
Yeah,
do it. There was no need to go in there, and there was no need to like leave the trailing leg in. Like,
yeah,
it's kind of your own fault there.
yeah. So let's leave out Eustachio and for now, because he was obviously
Oh,
head and shoulders above everybody else. Who's
I'm
that next
desperate though.
player?
Hold on. I'm desperate for him to get a move. He's got to get a move. That guy can play somewhere, man.
Yeah,
Somewhere.
yeah. He'll get something. He has to. But like, so who's the next Canadian that you thought was man of the match that game?
Maybe I'm just like my Kamal Miller.
Don't say Buchanan though. That's the other one I'm taking out of the
Okay, well,
I'm
I was
taking
going to
him
say
out too.
Buchanan. He was electric and
Yeah, he
just
was.
deadly and just creating chances. Uh, the other one, I mean, there's a lot of guys to give a lot of credit to, but I would go Mark Anthony Kay. I'm just more and more a fan of him game in and game out. I see more and more what he brings to the table. It's obvious in sometimes. And I don't know what the hell that 360 triple sow cow thing
Yeah, that was
was.
amazing.
Like,
Yeah.
and he like, if that goes in, that's getting beamed everywhere. Like that's going on a
That's a
highlight reel.
Puskas Award or whatever.
Yeah, that was insane. I'm like, what just happened? You know?
Yeah.
So I
That
go
was
him.
yeah. I'm gonna go just like it's not just the goal, but Hoylett I found really in the absence of all our strikers and everything, and you look to him and he doesn't have a club, and all of a sudden you're like, man, this guy's playing like he's playing right now. And that goal too.
Beauty.
I mean, and in the slow motion replay is where you really see it,
Yeah.
where he was completely there was nothing frantic, there was no panic, there was no reaching. He just jumped, set, he was laser focused, did it, and he knew the hit was coming
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
You could have easily folded before
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
beautiful
Beautiful.
touch, but man, that's a goal of somebody that's of a different quality.
Yeah, he was always I think we've mentioned before, like we were desperate for him all the time, and now we're not desperate for him for every game. And I think that could be a knock to his ego. And back to the whole brotherhood thing, like it seems like, and it's body language as well that I'm basing it on, like that he's totally bought in, even if he's not going to start over a David. Like he's there, he's doing these things, and it was just class. What's this? It's like,
I don't know. I saw that.
I feel like I'm missing the joke, and I want in on it so bad.
I know. I was watching it, and I was like, "Woo!" And I had no idea. Like, I just wanted to be part of it. I was like, "Yes."
I know. I was going like this in my living room. I'm like, I don't even doing it right. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, I know. I'm dying to know
what does
what
it
is.
mean? Like, and what if it's something horrible that like is controversial? But I'm at like my boys at practice. I'm like, do this.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
what is it? I need to know. Someone explain
We need to
it.
dig. Yeah, we need to dig and figure out what that is.
You know what? I'm writing it down. I'm gonna like go for it, and he'll never respond. I'm gonna tweet and Instagram him and say,
Yeah.
what is it?
We need to figure that out. And the last thing I'm going to bring up is not a negative, but it's questionable for me. I know Tesho Akindele is a good player. He's in great form for Orlando right now. We called him up late just for this quarters because of the injuries. And he came in and played okay. There's no problem, but I'm just like, what does it take for Corbiano to get put in the game earlier? He did come in, Corbiano, and he did well, beat some play. He should have set up, he should have had an assist or two in that time. But when you're taking, who the hell did he take off? Hoylett. Why not throw Corbiano on and just unleash the guy? I don't know. It drives me nuts. And I'm probably on my own, but
I'm a bit different with you on him, but I don't want that to sound like I don't think Corbiano is amazing. I totally think like this guy's got a massive upgrade potential. Yeah. So he could be one of our stars up in the lines with some of these big guys. I don't mind the sub going with that guy. I think it just gave a bit of a physical presence. I think it goes with what he's trying to do there. Yeah. And the kid's still 18, and so maybe I'm a little bit more cautious with him being 18 and you want to throw him in. So there's nothing wrong with that. Now, what do you do next game?
That was my next question to you is now you've got Hoylett and open space. So do you start Tesho or do you start Corbiano or do you drop another midfielder in because it's Mexico?
This is like, you know what? This is like the Mexican conundrum or like the Mexican like Chinese finger torture thing. Like we talked about this in the Olympics. Do you sit back?
Exactly.
Do you attack them? Do you press? it almost feels like with Mexico, you're dead no matter what you do. They're that good.
Yeah.
And whoever goes for it once and presses them or totally parks the bus and wins is going to look like a tactical genius.
Yeah.
I want to say you put Akindele up there for a physical presence, but I feel like I'm being an old school Brit by doing that. And why do you have to do that? And is that really going to bother the Mexicans? And are they going to have the ball so much that that guy's going to just be useless and run around? Like, I thought Theo Bear was a disaster in the Olympics,
Yeah. That's right.
playing up there, never touched it, never made any difference. And I thought physically you put him there. So, you know, if I go by that, then I would say go with Corbiano, get somebody who can hit them on the counterattack, lightning pace, help
Yeah.
Buchanan with some pace, help Hoylett. Now you got some 3 whippets up top there. So I'm going to contradict everything I've just said and go with Corbiano, but I think he's going to go with Akindele or however you say
Yeah.
it. Sorry.
Yeah. I'm even thinking he drops a Piet in there into the midfield, just a bulldog, and then you play Hoylett, maybe Osorio just off of Hoylett. I don't know. I don't know what it is. But I'm thinking it's either he goes for it, sticks with the system, plays Akindele there up front, or he drops a Piet in the midfield, just a bulldog around.
I kind of hope he sticks with his system, and even
Yeah.
if he loses, I'm not going to be against that. Because I feel like we just changed so much for these big teams. And
Yeah.
is it necessarily the right thing? And maybe in the past it was, but we've got players. And
Yeah.
maybe he's right to do what you're saying because we don't have all our guys right now. So we are weaker.
Yeah.
But just, I don't know, maybe just stick with it and go for it. Let Kay and Estacio play in there. Like those guys cover ground and they like, you know, maybe they're not the typical 6 meat eaters center or holding mid, but they do the job.
Yeah. No, they do. They do. And I loved watching that game, and I'll be so excited. I'm so excited to watch that Mexico game. And anyway, I think if we get by Mexico, the US or Qatar I don't fear them. I think this is the final. This Mexico-Canada game is essentially the final for me. Anyway.
I think if we beat Mexico, well, yeah, it's the final kind of. I see where you're getting at. The only thing I'd say is we've got still a mental block with the US. Like US Mexico, we have mental blocks, and more so Mexico, I would say, because they're just good and better and they always beat us. We've had results against US, but we've got a bit of a thing there. Like we should have beat them last time too, right? So anyways, it's so fascinating to watch.
And at home too, the US. I keep forgetting they have a full stadium and this kind of thing too. So
nice.
Anyway, that was a great game. I'm proud. Somebody figure out what a left Duke is real quick there before we move on.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
so
tell
that's
us
it.
what this is. Tell us what this is.
Yes, the broken wrist and the left Duke. So we'll be back for we'll wrap up the Mexican game when it's done, folks. Go Canada.